In case you're wondering where I've been trying to find my way to a decent internet connection for some reason. As soon as, hi, Francesca, good to see you.
Hi.
Francesca Fiorentini is here. We were talking, saying, okay, we're ready, roll the open, let's go. And then my internet went out. Am I lying, Francesca?
Yeah, no. I mean, I was a little late, but then this was my perfect cover for your internet to go. I'm the one that made your internet go out. I know it's wild. You know, I feel like New York has some bad internet, which means it should be free. Everyone on the same network. No, like 15,000 networks when you like try to sign into one. Free, high speed, everybody.
It was, I mean, it's crazy, right? And it goes out at the weirdest times. And so I am connected to the Ethernet here because it's stable. Yeah. I want a clear picture for the folks who are watching us on YouTube and even on the other platforms watching the video. I want it to be clear, but the Ethernet didn't work and the Wi-Fi didn't work. So here we are. So thank you for joining. Let me just tell you, Francesca's here. She's a comedian, a political commentator, the host of the wonderfully named Bituation Room.
The Bituation, that's right.
You've seen her before on MSNBC, The Young Turks, and of course this show. And I think you're also on Piers Morgan. So look, our thumbnail, Francesca, says, are the Trumps broke? Because there's some crazy stuff going on with all the stuff that they're selling. And I think that's a very good question. All the merch and the grift and all of that stuff. I'm just wondering if there's something to be determined or learned. I don't know. He claims to be a billionaire, but then, you know, Forbes says he's not actually worth what it is. But can I start with some breaking news?
Yes.
Because I want to give the MAGA cult, for all of those people who Donald Trump can do no wrong, right? Who followed the cult leaders' advice and lies, who went to the Capitol on January 6th.
Who are buying the merch to bail him out of his financial troubles. May
I introduce you to one Tina Peters? Let me just give you her latest biography. And if you search her on Wikipedia or the internet, Tina Peters is a former Colorado County clerk who promoted 2020 election conspiracy theories. She was sentenced today to 9 years behind bars after being convicted of charges, including official misconduct in connection with the security breach of Mesa County's voting system. Now, you always hear about Democrats are stealing the election. It's fraud. They're getting all these people to vote. Okay, now let me explain. And you guys want to stick around for this. You want to watch it. Call your friends. Tell everybody to watch this because we have her arrest video, and I'm going to show it to you.
Oh, no.
Francesca, she was convicted on 4 felony counts, 3 misdemeanor charges in August for using another person's security badge to allow someone associated with the MyPillow founder, Mike Lindell, makes an appearance in this one, a prominent election denier and ally of the former president, Donald Trump. She gave him access to county election equipment involving Dominion voting systems. Okay? All right. The county's machines had to be replaced afterward when data, including passwords for the machines, was posted online. Peters claimed that she didn't know the information would become public. The judge told Peters she had no consideration for how her lies had harmed her county and her colleagues. The damage is immeasurable. Barrett said, I'm convinced that you would do it all over again if you could.
Hey.
Okay? You're going to hear from the judge and you're going to hear from her, and then we're going to pick all of this up. So she was arrested. To me, I'm not exactly sure where it is. It looks like she may have been at a country club or someplace. She was in a public setting. She could have been in her place of business. The cops came in and arrested her, and we're going to roll the tape. Here it is.
Okay, Randy, put your cup down and turn around. Ma'am?
Let go of me. You let go of me. Let go of me. Let go of me. Let go of me.
The sound of handcuff.
It hurts. Let go of me.
Yes, stop resisting.
Do you understand?
I've been there. I mean, in different circumstances.
Pause it. Okay, so here's my question. Why isn't she complying? Because you know, if it had been someone who looked like me, I mean, who knows what would have happened? Am I lying, Francesca?
Of course not. No, I
Okay.
mean, at this point, if you're resisting at this point, you get thrown to the ground. I mean, not necessarily slammed, but you're going to get pushed up against something. Also, I've been arrested for peaceful demonstration. It's called direct action. As we do, we crazy lefties. And the more you resist on some handcuffs,
The tighter they get.
the higher they're going to put them up your back, the tighter it's going to be, the worse it's going to be for you. Just calm down. Don't mess up your Talbot's, jacket there. And
I think it might be Ann, whatever you call it.
Ann Taylor. I don't know. It's
Ann
got some,
Taylor.
maybe
It looks
some
like
cheap.
Talbot's.
It's Talbot's. It's Chico. It's like St. John. You know that brand. That.
All right, let's listen. I want people to get this. So back it up just a little bit because I want people to get the full effect. And then Francesca and I are going to quietly let you, because I want everyone to get the full effect, Francesca. So, and wait till you hear how she speaks to the cops. Okay, let's let it play in its entirety. Here it is.
Do you understand?
Stop it! No, let go of me!
Knock it off.
Caleb. Give me my key to my car! Give me my key to my car!
How you going to drive?
Give me my key to my car! Give it to me! Give me my key!
Step outside for me, please.
Take my purse! Let go of me! You're hurting me! And I'm going to show all the bruises that you put on me.
If you're not going to cooperate, you'll be
Let
charged
go
with
of me.
obstructing.
Let go
You
of me!
understand that?
You let go of me now.
No, ma'am.
You're bruising me. Let go
Stop
of
pulling
me.
against us.
I'm not pulling against you. Let go
Then
of me.
stand up like an adult.
Shut up. What an asshole thing to say to me.
Did you hear? She said, "What an asshole thing to say to me." Go ahead. Okay, so now can you imagine that?
Stand up like an adult. I mean, you are like I have a 2-year-old. This is 2-year-old behavior. When you've gotten caught, you go limp. Not that I handle my 2-year-old like that. Why that got weird, but she's very entitled. We've never, Dawn, when have you ever seen a video like this of like a upper class woman, like, nails done, lipstick, again, nice outfit, being like a dash cam, a body cam footage of her being arrested. Exactly. It never does.
No matter what crimes they do, they're never arrested. And if they are, they're never treated like that. They can sick their dogs on us in the park, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They can do all types of things. They can call the cops on us for false things. And most of the time, they're not, for the majority of the time, they're not treated like that. Let go of me. Basically, she was saying, how dare you? Why aren't you arresting someone who should be arrested and not me? I can commit crimes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So she gets to the jail for her arraignment. Okay, Francesca?
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't like the conditions under which that she will be sleeping or staying or for the next few hours or overnight until she is bailed out. She doesn't like it. She wants a special kind of bed. She's just like, me go to jail. So this is
in with Gen Pop, man. There you go.
Pop. So here she is in front of the judge who is going to be sentencing her, and who is she is in front of arraignment. And usually you're nice to the judge, right? Because you want a little special treatment, right?
Sure.
Here she is in court after that arrest. Here she is.
Very taken back by how awful I've been depicted when I was just trying to do my job. The people expected me to do. When I look at the people that have spoken here today and asking for harsh sentences, I'm just appalled. I feel bad for them because I know, I've often said God doesn't like people messing with his kids. And I believe I'm a child of God. And I believe that it was important for someone to stand up. And I chose to do that. I have health problems that would not be treatable in the Department of Corrections.
I'm white.
First of all, I need a magnetic mattress. I've been on that since 1995. I was in 2 rear-end collisions in 84 and 2010. It was pretty severe. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, I don't know if you can zoom in a little bit, and chronic fatigue as a result, and I had to stop working for the airlines in 1995. I was up all night because I was in bed all day. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't control these symptoms until I got, believe it or not, a magnetic mattress of which I still sleep on. I will not have that at the Department of Corrections.
Is it a MyPillow mattress? A magnetic mattress.
I think I got it wrong. Okay, so that was her arrest. This was her sentencing. And so I think there had been people speaking at her sentencing
Yes.
saying she deserved harsh punishment. It wasn't her arraignment. That was her sentencing. Different outfits, right? So they released her arrest video. And then now they released her sentencing video. Now, what do you think of that? I can't believe it. I was just doing my job. God has called me to do this. It's the crazy MAGA cult brain.
Well,
and also the evangelical white nationalist brain as well.
So, okay, again, this was election interference of the highest degree. This was ballot tampering. This was all kinds of security breaches that the Mesa County voters entrusted their voice to. And
there's no election interference except for on the left, Francesca. Don't you know that? Right, if you're on the right and you're white, you cannot interfere in the election. I'm 100%. Sorry.
And to me, so the real listening to her, obviously seeing her get arrested and how much she protested, and then also listening to her actually explains the 9 years, which sounds harsh. It sounds like, damn, that's a lot of years. I think that's longer than, many of the Jan 6ers have seen in terms of prison time. But then you hear her saying, I was called to do this by God. Someone had to do this. And you understand that put in the judge's position, this person would probably do it again. This person is well connected. This person clearly was able to, be in control when it came to the Mesa County clerk election board, and she was able to get her hands on that. Like, this is someone who would do this again. She could do this again in November. She could do this again in 4 years, in 2 years. Like, so that's the other thing of, you judge how many years and what your sentence is based on whether this person has any remorse about what they did and whether they are a threat to possibly doing it again and a threat to the public. So, and also Don, given, and I know we're going to talk about the broader news, but given the fact that Donald Trump will not face any kind of accountability for his actions related to the 2020 election before the 2024 election, it is kind of nice to see someone facing the music, because it sends a message that, look, not everyone out there who's going to be doing Donald Trump's bidding in 2024 this year is Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. Some of them are Tina Peters. Some of them are Tina Peters, and all the Tina Peters is out there. Be on, like watch out, because this could be you.
Well, that was a message. That's why I ran this, because I was going to start with, are the Trumps broke and all this whole thing about Melania asking for money. And I said, well, this is a lesson to the people who I like to call in this program the trolls, who like to get into the comments and, constantly make excuses for Donald Trump. They are part of a MAGA cult, right? They have cult brain. They are the marks, right? They are the people who are drinking the MAGA Kool-Aid, if you know what I mean. Jim Jones, right? Drinking the Kool-Aid. And so this is a lesson. Tina Peters was arrested and is going to jail for 9 years. Do you know what Donald Trump is doing? Luxuriating at his palatial estate on the coast of Florida, playing golf, flying around on his jet, and running for president. And you are sitting your ass in jail because you believed the cult leader. And by the way, Francesca, you are one smart lady, because you are channeling the judge who told Tina Peters pretty much everything that you just said. Watch.
I'm convinced you would do it all over again if you could. You're as defiant as a defendant as this court has ever seen. You don't have those histories of drug and alcohol abuse. There's no lifetime of trauma, not even close to the type of mitigating circumstances I would see from many folks who sit in that chair. No, to the contrary, Ms. Peters, you are a privileged person.
Mm.
You are as privileged as they come.
Oof.
And you use that privilege to obtain power, a following, and fame. And to be sure, there's no doubt in my mind that it's exactly what you wanted, and it defies all sense of common sense to believe when you suggested to me a few moments ago that you didn't want this attention. No, you crave it, ma'am. And there is no one in this courtroom who would consider that to be anything other than the absolute truth. But to get to the point of what it is that you did here, it's my impression distinctly that you never took your job of clerking particularly seriously. You didn't complete the certification. One scandal after another followed you in your time as the clerk. And ultimately, it was a belief that the echo chamber in which you live couldn't be wrong, among other things, that led you to do what you did here.
Okay, pause it.
Stop.
He said the echo chamber in which you live could not convince you that you could be wrong.
Dude,
Wow. Go ahead, Francesca. What do you think?
no, he's just reading her, like the read, just boom, boom, your privilege, and you use that privilege to wield your power, and then he's bringing up the receipts about her clerkship. I'm just like, I mean, we know MAGA's gonna come for this guy, but like, at least there are some probably not Trump appointed judges out there who are still honest, which is very nice to see, Don. We need some good court news. What's happening? You gonna talk? Am I gonna talk? Are we
No,
both
I couldn't.
gonna-
I thought you were still talking. I was like, wait, I can't hear you. I thought you were muted. Did you see me like trying to fix my computer? Yeah, we do. Back it up a little bit because I would really want to hear this, Judge. And I want everyone within the sound of my voice. And if you have a MAGA friend in your family or someone you know, a coworker, whatever, send them a copy, a link to this broadcast, or send them this video of the judge and just the nerve of Tina Peters. Let go of me. Give me my car keys. Basically saying, how dare you put your dirty hands on me?
Yeah.
And then she's like, I need a magnetic mattress. And it's like, what? Anyway, back it up a little bit. And let's hear the judge basically saying, you live in an echo chamber. Your echo chamber is wrong. And because you live in that echo chamber, you don't know the difference between right and wrong. Folks are lying to you, and you have been co-opted by the person in the highest office in the land, and then by those people who have been co-opted by him. They are in your ear all the time, and you are believing you are right. You are acting in concert with the lunatic pillow dude. And she gave someone access to a voting system.
Like an
Hello?
associate, exactly, a voting system, and also an associate of Mike Lindell. If Mike Lindell is this crazy as he is, like, imagine what his associate is like. Like, how many like DUIs does that associate? Like, who is this guy?
An associate.
I feel like he's like, yeah, like a 16-year-old kid that he just like hired off of, Thumbtack or something.
Oh boy. All right, more Judge Barrett. Continue.
Of what it is that you did here, it's my impression distinctly that you never took your job of clerking particularly seriously. You didn't complete the certification. One scandal after another followed you in your time as the clerk. And ultimately, it was a belief that the echo chamber in which you live couldn't be wrong, among other things, that led you to do what you did here. Wow. This thought process, unfortunately, seems to consume so many in our country, regardless of race, gender, political affiliation, or the like, that what it is we hear and think can't possibly be wrong. Wow. There are many things in my mind that are crystal clear about this case. You are no hero, you abused your position, and you're a charlatan who used and is still using your prior position in office to peddle a snake oil that's been proven to be junk time and time again. Damn. In your world, it's all about you. But at bottom, this case was about your corrupt conduct and how no one is above the law. No one in this country has absolute power. Your position as a clerk and recorder, a constitutional position, does not provide you with a means by which to do your own investigation, to not listen to the judiciary, to not listen to the executives higher than you, to not listen to the legislature who sets the law as it may be. This is nonsense. Our system of government can't function when people in government think that somehow, some way, the power they've been given is absolute in all respects. And that's where you fell. You have no respect for the checks and balances of government. You have no respect for this court. You have no respect for law enforcement. And you do not have respect for your fellow colleagues when you were a clerk and recorder who weren't lockstep in your beliefs.
Oh, that's just like healing. Anyone else healed by that?
If I wasn't married,
You're like, totally, right? Right?
hey,
It was like,
Judge Barrett.
crushing it over here.
I'm just saying, I live for the day when that happens to the cult leader, if it will ever happen. If it will ever happen for the cult leader, and not because I wish any ill will on anyone. I don't wish any ill will on Donald Trump, but it is, as you said, that's healing. It would be healing for the country, and I think it would break the cult spell if all of a sudden they see that the leader is human and that they have been lied to. Am I wrong here?
You're not. And let me just, push back a little bit and say that I think that Donald Trump has been handled with kid gloves. And even though he is facing some processes of justice, and even though obviously there's a RICO case out for him and his co-conspirators, similar the Tina Peters, of Georgia, her name's Misty Hampton, he's still been handled with kid gloves. I think that Merrick Garland, I'm going to just say it, I think Merrick Garland waited way too long to begin the investigation into January 6th. And I think there's a deep fear coming from our Justice Department that we would politicize, to use their terms, or stir the pot, or, this would be a backfire on us politically if we were to actually hold people like Trump accountable for his actions. But it's because it's what struck me about the judge there. I think the line that really sticks with me is you have no respect for the courts. You have no respect for the county. You have no respect. So you disrespect this. And that is truly the Donald Trump administration and the ethos of MAGA in and of itself. It is, I disrespect everything about this government. I hate government. I hate lawyers. I hate judges. I hate unless they are loyal to me, unless they are part of my cult, as you put it. And to say nothing of the fact that they want to hollow out the government when they are in power, right? And attempted to do so in 4 years and will do so again if reelected. And so it's like, okay, so the only thing that will get you to respect this court, this government, and, the justice system is if I slap you with some time. Like, if you are going away, like, because you can't argue with that. You can keep arguing about your magnetic bed. I mean, it reminds me of the QAnon shaman who was like, I'm a vegan. I need vegan food. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
So that I think is it's like, yeah. It's all a witch hunt until you get slapped with 9 years.
Look, it's shocking to me, the level of it's insanity that's just conveyed every single day by Donald Trump and that which is the MAGA cult. It's unbelievable. So she said, the judge said that every time one of her conspiratorial claims gets refuted, shown to be false, another tale is weaved. He's right about that. He said, you're as defiant, you heard him say that, a defendant as I've ever seen. Peters was a fox guarding the henhouse, prosecutor Jessica Drake said in her closing argument in August. It was her job to protect the election equipment, and she turned on it and used her power for her own advantage. Peters now maintains she did nothing wrong. Here's the thing, as the ambulance or the siren in New York City. Can you hear that?
Oh yeah, but that's okay.
Does it make you feel like you're at home? Are you a New Yorker? Okay, so here's the thing. And will this change anything?
I mean, this is the point, is that, again, we're not going to see any of the fallout from the cases that have already been brought against Donald Trump and his immediate co-conspirators who, we can go into. He obviously Sidney Powell and the people he thinks are crazy. But in terms of, and I talked about this on the Bituation Room, we had Ari Berman, who's a voting rights correspondent for Mother Jones on, and he was explaining that, there are so many more Tina Peterses this time around than there were in 2020. And we've seen, good faith poll workers and election workers be chased out of the process. I'm forgetting the name of the mother and daughter who Rudy Giuliani defamed for months and months and months, I believe, in Georgia. But again, you're seeing good poll workers and election and people who are part of election boards leave because it's been so politicized and it's dangerous for them.
Yeah.
And now you have all the crazies are now in power, and in places like Georgia, where the election board is now purely run by Republicans, and many, many, many counties across this country, and obviously we're in swing states where it matters, you're seeing the same. So the question is, what will they do? Will they see what happened to Tina Peters? Will they see what happened to Misty Hampton and these people in Georgia and and that big RICO case, and go, I don't know if I'm gonna not certify these results. I don't know if I'm going to ballot tamper in the way that we so boldly ballot tampered. It's also different, Don, because Donald Trump's not president anymore. Joe Biden is president. And I think there was a certain obvious hubris of sycophants, the hubris of a sycophant, that they could do whatever they want because the big guy is ultimately still in charge. Well, big guy's Biden at this point. And so, I wonder. And I think this case matters more so than even the Jack Smith cases, if we're being honest.
You think so? Okay.
Because because this is part of the stuff that's going to come down in this election. And
it's going to come down in this election, as you said, in Georgia and Arizona and other places where the poll workers, the MAGA cult collectively, they have infiltrated local and state voting places, right?
Mhm.
Voting systems.
Mhm.
And they get to decide if the election is certified at the local level before they even send it up to the federal level. And that's very scary. I want to move on because this is related, right? So we'll get to Jack Smith, and I agree with you. So this Jack Smith thing, we'll get to third. But I want to talk about this because it is also part of the brainwashing of the MAGA cult. Because money that they send to his reelection goes to pay his legal bills as well, right? You know that, Francesca,
of
right?
course.
So my question is, Melania Trump is out with this new memoir, as you know, and there are some things in there where she's saying all of a sudden she is proclaiming that she cares about bodily autonomy for women, right? That she is pro reproductive rights for women, okay? We'll get to that one. But I want to talk about what happened over at the CNN when they requested, as a journalist, an organization does, they requested an interview with her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when they requested an interview with her, they got a return letter from her representatives with a request of their own. Here's the CNN reporting.
CNN has tried to interview the former First Lady ahead of the release of her memoir, but her publisher responded with an unusual demand to CNN, a $250,000 price tag. CNN's Hadass Gold and I broke this story together today. Hadass, good to see you.
Okay,
so
pause,
help
please.
our viewers understand from a media perspective.
Pause, please. Okay, so
You can help us understand, Don.
I can help you understand. So I just want to explain. So this explains to all of that money that goes to the legal bills, all the money that they've spending on legal bills. Melania Trump was asked recently to do an event for an LGBTQ organization. It may have been I think it was the Log Cabin Republicans.
Sure.
And at Mar-a-Lago, which she lives, and she charged them a whole bunch of money just to walk downstairs and to do whatever. Look, you can do what you want. That part is not, that's not breaking any rules. That doesn't go against the rules of journalism. There's nothing illegal about that, but it's a little odd, right? You live there, Rick Grinnell was there. He's a member, I would imagine, of the Log Cabin Republicans. And it's like, if they're your buddies, why are you charging all this money? And then he has, we'll talk about all the merch and shit that he has out there, right? That he's selling. And everyone's wondering, why is the president selling? I'm just wondering if they're broke now. And other people are as well. I'm just asking the question. So
yes,
if CNN sent a request, you say yes. Okay.
of course.
I want you to hold your thoughts, because
Yes.
I want you to listen to, as my former colleagues go through this story, and you tell me what you think. Here it is.
Understand from a media perspective how unusual a demand such as this is with such an incredibly high price tag nonetheless.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Most legitimate news organizations would never pay a public figure, especially the spouse of the Republican candidate for president, for an interview. Full stop. They just would not do that. Most news organizations have rules against any sort of payment to political organizations or to a candidate. So they would never pay for an interview with the spouse of the Republican candidate for president. And CNN has not and will not pay for such an interview. Now, in the past, media organizations have paid, especially when it comes to licensing photos or trying to get interviews with people who are involved in things like scandals or murders or the like. But paying for something related to politics, that in particular crosses essentially all of the media ethical boundaries. Now, a former first lady being paid for a speaking engagement or for a book advance, that is not necessarily unusual. But Melania Trump is not just the former first lady. She is also the spouse of the Republican candidate for president. So it is very unusual also that her team would send such a request and such a high amount for requests to a news organization. And let's be clear. Now, the publisher now says, after we reached out to them, that this was a miscommunication. But it's very clear in the conversations with CNN and in the contract that we've seen that they knew who they were dealing with, because the contract very clearly lays out that it's CNN that the contract is with and that it is for an interview. And I would like to stress there were several backs and forths between the publisher's team and CNN before this contract was even sent. So I will say that in their statement, the publisher says that neither Melania nor anyone from her team knew anything about the NDA, and the document that was sent reflected an internal miscommunication. This is coming from the president and publisher of
Pause. That doesn't add up, because you don't sign an NDA unless you have a deal, right? Unless you say we're going to sign an NDA for the deal, right? Rather than, so what they're saying kind of doesn't make sense. And the explanation coming from them doesn't make sense, but also I don't believe that they responded. I just want to be clear about this, because I want people to know it doesn't really make sense that you're going to say, we're not going to talk about this deal. We want $250,000. And then we're going to take this proposal for $250,000 to Melania Trump and her. And then we're going to, and also I'm in the middle of a book tour right now, and I just negotiated a book deal. No one does that. We'll give you $250,000 for Don to do an interview with such and such, but we're not going to tell Don about it, and we're going to negotiate it on his behalf and then present it to him.
Yeah.
Does that sound right to you?
No, but I have less experience in this area than you do.
All right. Well, let's
I
hear the rest of it, and then I'll get it. All right. Here
Yeah.
we go.
Skyhorse. They went further and said, had CNN signed the NDA, in the normal course of business, we would have approached Melania's team to discuss specifics of the interview, essentially. Now, that is also unusual. So what, CNN would have signed this, which would have been agreeing to pay, and then they would have discussed the specifics of the interview? I will say that Melania's personal spokesperson, as you reached out to them, they declined to comment. Melania has been interviewed by Fox News twice, actually, within the last couple of weeks. But Fox News said in a statement to CNN that they did not pay any fee for the interview, including any licensing fees for this. But just all of this coming from a supposedly professional team for Melania Trump, this request to a news organization. You and I both spoke to not only journalism ethics experts, but also experts in the realm of First Lady. They all said this is completely unprecedented and very, very unusual.
And we should note, even though the publisher I've been in touch with says that Melania Trump didn't know about it, $250,000 is the exact same amount that she has been paid for other things like appearance fees back in 2022 for several events, and around that amount for an event just this past year. So just putting that out there. Hadas Gold, thank you so much. We'll be right back.
Thank you, Pamela Brown. Thank you, Hadass Gold. I told you it didn't add up. I've been doing this for a long time, and it's. What do you think of that? And you think that they're hurting for money? Because Donald Trump has never really been really candid or truthful about how much he's worth and how much money he has. And they're asking people for a lot of money, and it's pouring in every single day, Francesca.
Yeah, I mean, it's the reason that they're selling cryptocurrency now. I mean, in addition to being backed by billionaire crypto bro billionaires, they're getting into, I mean, the griftiest grifts of the grift. You know, Donald Trump is selling supposedly gold watches with diamonds, at least 100 diamonds, which means there's at least 2 diamonds, maybe maybe 1 diamond. The rest is cubic zirconium. But like, look, he's been hit with massive legal. First of all, number one, it's expensive to campaign.
Mhm.
So we know also that one of the reasons he's been doing outdoor campaigns and outdoor events, is because he can't pay venues. He owes venues money for renting them out for campaign stops. So there's that. But
No,
then, of
he's a
course,
billionaire and he's a great businessman. What are you talking about,
he can run the
Francesca?
country like a business right into the ground. E. Jean Carroll's settlement was $83.3 million in total. Then we remember, again, the falsifying business records, that whole case was the penalty was lowered from $454 million to $175, which is a huge break if you ask me, but $175 is still $175 million. So like, yeah, he's hurting. There's a reason that Don Trump Jr. is on Cameo. They need money.
They need money. I wasn't so off. I'm like, are they broke? Because this is really. Look, I know that there's a lot of grift going on over there with the MAGA folks, right? But this one is just really in your face, bold and obvious. It's like, it begs the question: are they broke? Are they in trouble financially? First
I'm
up,
glad they reported on it, right?
yeah. First up, let's just see some of the things. Let's just show. This is from Vegas. These are the Trump sneakers. Let's look at some Trump sneakers.
Are the Donald Trump sneakers that everybody seems to be talking about. How much are these sneakers? I'm doing a video on the sneakers. $750. The economy must be terrible if people are willing to afford to pay $750 for sneakers, I'll tell you. $750 for sneakers.
Yeah. There you go. Okay, so good. $750. And these are Trump. This is not like just vendors or whatever. Like these are from Donald Trump. Remember his launch?
Yes, I do. Are we going to play that?
Oh, no, we're not going to play it. I was just going to let you respond. But listen, since we're not, we don't have to, because now I want to play what you've been talking about. He's got coins and he's got watches. Here it is.
I think you're going to love it. My new Trump watches. We're doing quite a number with watches, and the quality to me is very important. The Trump Victory Tourbillon. This isn't just any watch. It's one of the best watches made.
It's definitely
a
not
tourbillon
real.
watch with almost 200 grams of gold and more
Almost
than
200 grams. There's
diamonds.
a gram of
That's a lot of
gold.
diamonds. I love gold. I love diamonds. We all do. Only 147 of these extraordinary watches will ever exist in the world, and owning one puts you in a very exclusive club. I have watch number 1, and I'm going to keep it. It's mine, and that's the way I want to have it. Each watch is numbered and extremely rare, a true collector's item, and it includes a personal letter signed by me. Get your Trump watch right now. Go to gettrumpwatches.com. It's Trump time.
Oh my God.
So that was a legitimately good line. But
We have the coin one, but if we do have
you know how much that watch is, Don?
Yeah. 150,000.
It's $100,000.
Wow.
It's 100 and that gentleman who filmed the sneakers really is onto something. It's like we are honestly, seriously listening to Donald Trump and JD Vance about inflation and the economy and how, people are struggling to put food on the table and, pay rent from dudes who are selling sneakers for $750 and gold watches with diamonds. Like the dissonance is too much to take. And I think we all need to remember just how wild this is and how unreal. And that's why it was very hard for me when you see someone like, Tim Walz being so generous and kind to JD Vance rather than calling them out on this glaring hypocrisy. And then the final thought is, what happens if they win? You're not technically allowed to make money from the office of the presidency, but Donald Trump did in many different ways, some of which are still being investigated. Congressman Raskin, I believe, is on that because he took millions of dollars from countries like China that he loves to, hate on. But like, what happens to this? Like, what do they? Oh, well, just let the kids run it. What? The kids who were like advising you on Mideast policy? What are you talking about? Like, what if he wins? Who runs this stuff? Can he still make money from it? Of course he can.
Yeah. Donald Trump selling NFTs. This is, I think, is the biggest grift of them all right here. Here it is.
And this is your favorite president, Donald J. Trump, with some very exciting news. By popular demand, I'm doing
how many of these did he had to film in a day, right?
Digital trading cards. You all know what they are. We've had a lot of fun with them. It's called the America First Collection. 50 all-new stunning digital trading cards. It's really something. These cards show me dancing and even me holding some Bitcoins. Here's the best part. I'm doing great things for my Trump digital card collectors. First, there's the real physical Trump cards. Purchase 15 or more of my Trump digital trading cards.
Must be so expensive.
We'll mail you a beautiful physical trading card. It's really, I think, quite something. Each physical trading card has an authentic piece of my suit that I wore for the presidential debate, and people are calling it the knockout suit. I don't know about that, but that's what they're calling it. So we'll cut up the knockout suit, and you're going to get a piece of it, and we'll be randomly autographing 5 of them, a true collector's
You'll get
item.
a piece of
This
my
is something
diaper.
to give your family, your kids, your grandchildren. Number 2 is to purchase 75
honey,
of my Trump
I was going to get you a scooter, but here's a piece of Donald Trump's
suit. Join
suit.
me for a gala dinner at my beautiful country club in Jupiter, Florida. We really have tremendous dinners with my collectors.
Oh my God.
Have a lot of fun together. We're going to have a good time.
These
I'm
poor
keeping my
rubes.
Trump digital trading cards at the same price of $99 each. We've done that right from the beginning. So go to collecttrumpcards.com. It's really easy to buy. You just need an email address and a credit card or crypto. You know, they call me the crypto president. I don't know if that's true or not, but a lot of people are saying that, so don't miss out.
I love how he's inserting all these, like, I don't know, I'm just saying what it says.
Go right now and collect your piece of American history. Let's have fun together and enjoy my Trump cards. We're going to have a lot of fun. We'll be talking about it for a long time. Thank you very much. Have a good time.
Let the fight begin.
Corny, just like so.
Oh my
corny.
God, Francesca, what is that? Okay,
That's
all right.
desperation.
All right, let's get this out of our system. I wish I'd forgotten. Remember Trump Bibles?
Oh yeah.
You remember Trump Bibles?
Of course.
Okay, here's Trump coins.
Everyone, I have something incredible to share today.
Stop with the merch. It really is a home shopping network.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you.
Trump coins are designed by me and minted.
I mean, just be a home, just create a home shopping network. You can have Ivanka stuff on there that nobody wants anymore.
I'm saying, who does this if you are not trying to grab some dough?
Of course. No, but I mean, I think the real thing is, going back to the inflation stuff. I'm just going to talk over him because.
Yeah, go ahead and talk over because that's what I want to hear you talking. We can just show him.
It sort of speaks to this fallacy that Donald Trump's supporters are working class. Like, we know they're not. We know they took time off on a Wednesday, which I think January 6th was maybe a Thursday it was. Like, they took time off of their jobs. They shuttered their small businesses. They have money, and they took planes over to go storm the Capitol. These are people who have money to spend, and he knows that. Like, the idea that they're priced this way, that they are these kinds of, like, just ostentatious purchases tells you everything you need to know about who he's talking to. So mainstream media also dabbles in this too. Like, oh, I don't know. He speaks to the working class. No, man, union people hate this guy. And nobody can afford the kinds of things he's hawking unless you're wealthy.
Okay, so enough of that. But here's what I want to play this. God, if anybody is MAGA or Donald Trump supporter watching, how can you be? How can you be? And how can
Don-
we not question what?
My question is, sorry. I mean to interrupt.
No, I'm listening to you.
My question for you is there anyone, living or dead, is there anyone who, if they sold you like a bottle of their, air that they breathed in their home, you can buy it for the low price of $399, like that, you'd be like, yes, I need that, I want that. Like, that's how strong he thinks his brand is. And I cannot think of anyone who I would like, whose NFTs I would buy, whose coins,
But they
whose
must be buying it,
watches.
Francesca. They must be buying it.
I'd be very curious.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
sure
that's-
they're buying it. I'm sure. Or people and vendors wouldn't be selling it outside of the event. The ladies at The View had a good time talking about this and also Melania Trump's new memoir that's out, which we'll discuss a little bit later as well. But here are the women of The View talking about this and other stuff as it relates to Melania.
I think she.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, so we can all
That's a
agree on
given.
that. That's a given. I also think that she wants to take him out. She does not want to be the first lady anymore.
They agree with you.
She doesn't want to be the first lady. She destroyed the Rose Garden. Who hates Christmas? Melania Trump hates Christmas. She doesn't want to decorate for Christmas. She doesn't want to have anything to do with him. She doesn't want to sleep in the same room with him. She can't tolerate him.
Allegedly.
And she doesn't.
Yeah, how do you know all this?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know all this.
Allegedly. That's why I say allegedly. Allegedly. And so I really think that this is her way of undercutting his bid for the presidency, because then she doesn't have to deal with
But it would have hurt him more if she had just said, we all know you lost the election. Right. You know, like that would have really
This is how they're simpatico. Like Alyssa said, she needs the money because he's broke. So she wants to make the money. Now her memoir is all buzzy. Now we're all talking about it. Maybe now she's not as bad as she is. You know, I
that's
think,
why it's more
I think
expensive.
that she wants to take him out, and she's doing a pretty damn good job.
I totally disagree
The
with
only
that.
reason I disagree there is
Sure, you
if
never
Donald,
disagree with
we
that.
forget this, if Donald Trump loses, he likely goes to jail. We actually try the January 6th case. We actually try the documents case. I'm not convinced Melania Trump wants to see the father of her children in jail. I think she realizes.
Sleep with him. She doesn't talk to him.
I honestly don't know anything about their personal relationship.
Okay. I mean, even the ladies of The View, Sunny said she needs the money.
Yeah.
Again, as we said, is he broke? Again, we are not inside of his finances, but this behavior certainly says what, Francesca?
Yeah, I mean, it says that he's broke. He's got legal fees. He's already obviously been hit by fines in 2 of the cases that he's lost. He's going to lose more. And it says also that whatever happens come November, I'm gonna have. I need to. I mean, not whatever happens. If he wins, it's all water under the bridge. But really, for me, and if you've observed the Trump campaign in the last couple months, they have stopped campaigning in earnest, meaning stop trying to win over undecided voters. They have no plans when it comes to healthcare, no plans when it comes to mitigating the impacts of climate change like we're seeing after Hurricane Helene, no plans when it comes to actually, as JD Vance said, winning back the trust of female voters on abortion rights and bodily autonomy. They have no plans for that, right? It's all written by the Heritage Foundation. It's all a siphon for money from the working class up to the wealthy. They don't care about winning over votes. Instead, they care about 2 things: making enough money to pay for legal fees if they lose, and to help them win is, as we saw earlier, taking over county election boards, taking over state election boards, and making sure that there are going to be more rubes who will deny this and fail to certify the votes in counties across this country. So that's the plan now. So you've got one plan if you win and one plan if you lose. And I disagree that does anyone honestly think Donald Trump is going to go to prison? I mean, we started this segment off. Yeah. Miss Peters will be sent to prison. Donald Trump, despite everything he's done, maybe house arrest. But I I don't think he will ever see the inside of a jail cell.
But she's going to be there for 9 years.
Yeah.
Unless she gets out, she has an epiphany and makes amends for her ways and gets out on her good behavior, early release or good behavior or something. That would be the only way. Okay, so speaking of, well, you said that Republicans have issues with women's reproductive rights and abortion and all of that. Well, I mean, maybe that's why Melania Trump is doing what she's doing. She has a new book out, and I'm going to let her, it's a bit of a teaser. I'm going to let her tell you what is one of the revelations and probably the main revelation in her book, and then we will discuss. Here is Melania Trump in her own words.
Freedom is a fundamental principle that I safeguard. Without a doubt, there is no room for compromise when it comes to this essential right that all women possess from birth: individual freedom. What does my body, my choice really mean?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
So here's what she's saying. She made an extraordinary declaration in her awaited memoir, I guess by some people, published a month before Election Day. She is a passionate supporter of a woman's right to control her own body, including the right to abortion. Quote, "It is imperative to guarantee that women have autonomy in deciding their preference of having children based on their own convictions, free from any intervention or pressure from the government." And there's more. She goes on. What say you? Do you believe this? Do you believe her? And I'm asking you that, considering the history. We know who Melania Trump is. We don't hear from her a lot, but when we do, it's very targeted, I think, and very curated.
This is all smoke and mirrors bullshit. Like, that's all this is. This is, sorry, but this is JD Vance saying, yeah, the Republicans, we have work to do. We have soul searching to do on this issue. No, man, this is them running away from their legacy, and they're using Melania as part of it to say what you're seeing in states after states of women bleeding out because of miscarriages that could be absolutely treated with abortion care. That's not actually happening. None of this is happening before your very eyes. I believe in a woman's right to choose. It's the fundamental right. Anyway, let's keep on keeping on until it happens to you or someone you know. Like, that's what this is. This is to tell you that Donald Trump bragging about overturning Roe v. Wade, bragging about putting those extremist Supreme Court justices on the highest bench in the land, that somehow that has had no impact. And now it's all going back down to the states, Don. Well, it went back down to the states, and states had trigger bans, meaning as soon as Roe was overturned, bam, abortion is banned, except in cases of rape or incest, or maybe not even in those cases. And then, oops, women who have miscarrying are being denied care. So this is part of their new strategy to say that the reality we are living is not the reality we are living.
Mm. The reason that I have trouble believing this is because of her history. Remember the green jacket when kids were being in cages, kept in cages at the border, and she gets on Marine One or Air Force One with a jacket that says, "I don't really care, do you?" And this was a very crucial moment in the Trump administration. But then we also have to remember her history even before then, Francesca, when she supported her husband's vile, racist birther conspiracy on on Barack Obama, and doubled down on it every chance she got, including with one of the co-hosts of The View who had her own show then back on HLN and questioned Melania Trump about this whole crazy birther conspiracy theory. This is why I don't believe it. Watch.
What is this with the birth certificate obsession? Did he ask to see yours when you met him?
Well, I needed to put mine anyway, because if you want to become an American citizen, you need to put the birth certificate.
Right.
I have a birth certificate from Slovenia. And do you want to see President Obama birth certificate or not?
I've seen it.
It's not the birth certificate.
Well, it's a certificate of live birth,
right,
which they give. But Melania, if he insists on what he's saying, then no one in Hawaii can ever run for president, because they all get the same live birth certificate.
Well, but they need to have...
is finished, for example.
They need to have, and in one way, it will be very easy if President Obama just show it, and because
But he
it's not
does.
only Donald who wants to see it. It's American people who voted for him and
Pause,
who didn't
please.
vote for
Pause,
him.
pause,
They
pause.
want to see.
Oh, look at her. She's still a believer. Look at her.
Did you? I never wanted to see Barack Obama's birth certificate. Did you?
I
don't know
mean,
I don't know any American who wanted to see it. I don't know anybody who wanted to see it but Donald Trump and her.
I could say so many things that I will not right now, but no, hell no. And I love that this is after he, in my opinion, made the misstep to actually release his birth certificate when he absolutely should not have even conceded that point, and done that and caved to this pressure. But here I love seeing MAGA Melania. Like, this is a Melania who still believes that Donald Trump is the truth and he's the most wonderful man in the world. Like, this is the Melania that hadn't heard about Stormy Daniels sleeping with her husband while she was pregnant. This is the Melania that hadn't heard about the many assaults that happened while she was taking care of her newborn son. Like, this is the Melania who hasn't seen Donald Trump, like, who didn't think that running for president was kind of just a ruse to make even more money. But we're not really serious about becoming president, are we? Like, this is that Melania who never wanted all the smoke of being the first lady, hates Christmas, didn't want to do any of this. And I like her innocence, because you see the same face on all of these Trump ghouls and ghoulettes, right? Like, again, the Marjorie Greens and the Lauren Boeberts and the Lisa Peters, if that's her name. I forgot, Miss Peter, all these people
Tina
who were
Peter.
like, Tina, good friend Tina, never forget. Like that, it's really fun to see Melania all these years later, and like, who's just like, yeah.
And everyone's, oh my God, Melania, she's this, whatever. She's always carried Donald Trump's racist, bigoted water. Okay, let's let her finish out a little bit, and then we'll end this. Here she is. Continue.
People who voted for him and who didn't vote for him, they want to see that.
But it's on display in Chicago. We've seen it on the internet. We've
Not
seen
good
it.
enough,
It's
though.
not the same as yours, but it's a certificate of live birth.
Well, we feel it's different than birth certificate.
All right. Well, I think you should give it up at this point.
Well, it's not. It's not him that it's bringing up. It's the media all the time.
pause.
All the time.
Bitch, you just got here. I'm sorry. You just got here. And now you're asking to see other people's birth certificates. If there's one hilarious irony about the MAGA movement, it's like fresh off the boat immigrants can put on a red hat and be like, you're illegal. And it's like, you literally just got here. How would this immigrant on immigrant crime? I hate it.
Well, I mean, it's unbelievable to me because she's saying it's not him, it's the media. Who brought it up? It wasn't the media's idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Birth certificate thing. It wasn't the media saying we've sent investigators over to Africa to investigate. And then when he finally runs for president and people demand some facts and some answers from him, he stands in front. I don't know if you remember that press conference. I remember it vividly. And he said, he had the media waiting. Donald Trump is going to deliver a press conference on the birth certificate thing. So everyone is waiting. Everyone is going live. And then he is selling his hotels, talking about his hotel in Washington and Trump Tower in Russia and all of these, he's selling. And then at the very end, he says something flippant like, something about a live birth or Barack Obama was born in America or something. It was just a very flippant comment. And then he walked off and I'm like, he duped the media again.
Right.
And it was not an apology. There was nothing.
It was like we all just sat through a timeshare explanation.
That's basically what it was. So look, I have trouble believing it. And I think is she playing four-dimensional chess? I believe, because she's trying to make an appeal, I believe, to women who don't like how Donald Trump killed Roe v. Wade. Or is she actually trying to knife her husband and hurt him with the evangelical crowd?
Nope.
Nope. You
I
don't
mean,
think?
no, not at all. I don't. The evangelical crowd has already gotten their way. They, if anything, they've been told to sort of tamp down and pipe down. It's fine. Well, once we enact Project 2025, we will track all of your pregnancies. It'll be all hunky dory. But no, Melania is still playing for the same team. She's just lifting the language of bodily autonomy and the pro-choice language and using it in bad faith. And it's something that the right does very effectively and efficiently.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. It's all connected. The Jack Smith of it all. Federal judge unsealed a 165-page motion pertaining to Donald Trump's January 6th trial on Wednesday, revealing details and co-conspirators connected to the former president's 2020 election subversion scheme. Okay. Revealing details and co-conspirators who are connected to this scheme. At one point, Smith details how a Trump campaign employee was informed that a final batch of ballots at a Detroit vote counting center would favor Joe Biden. And I quote here, okay, Francesca? "Find a reason it isn't," the staffer said. "Give me options to file litigation." When the colleague warned doing so could spark unrest, the staffer replied, "Make them riot." Here is Chuck Rosenberg on Morning Joe talking about what this case means and giving us the details of why it's happening now and what we should know. Here it is.
So this is 165 pages, as Mika said. There's a lot to sift through, a lot of detail. It's clear that a lot of the testimony is coming directly from Mike Pence, among other people who are around Donald Trump. But it seems to me, and I'll let you walk us through and explain, the core argument here is that Donald Trump was not acting as president. He was acting as a presidential candidate, effectively, when talking to Mike Pence about these things.
I think that's exactly right, Willie. The Supreme Court said that certain official conduct is off limits, that a president, any president, Mr. Trump in this case, would be immune from prosecution for official acts. And so the government's brief here, it's styled as a motion for the judge to make determinations about immunity. But the thrust of the government's brief here, Willie, is that Mr. Trump was not acting in an official capacity. He was acting in a private capacity as a candidate, not as a president, but as a candidate trying to secure re-election. And so all of those 165 pages have a similar theme. They lay out a series of acts of conversations between the president and private officials for the most part, explaining that the president was willfully blind to the facts that he had lost, that he was urging people to act in fraudulent and dishonest ways, and that he's trying to retain office. All of this is intended to convince the district court judge, the trial judge, Judge Chutkan, that these are all prosecutable acts, that they're not immune. Remember, the Supreme Court had the easy job, Willie. All they had to do was pronounce a rule. Judge Chutkan has the really hard job. She has to implement the rule. And the government is trying to give her a path, a roadmap to implement the rule in a way that they believe means that Mr. Trump still may be prosecuted for all of these unofficial acts as a candidate.
Yeah. So what they're trying to do here is get around the whole immunity thing that the Supreme Court said, okay, because it's all the Trumpers on the Supreme Court. So they're trying to say, look, this is not official acts as a president.
Yeah.
He's trying to get re-election. That's not an official act of the presidency. That's an official act of a candidate. And so it's going to be odd because he is a president, but I mean, the gall of all of it. Go on. I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, I mean, leave it to Tanya Chutkan, who I think this is I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a judge. And so I don't understand. To me, when the immunity case came down, I was like, you can literally argue that anything he did was a part of his official act. Yeah. How are you going to spin this? And it's like, okay, he was a candidate in this moment. That's fine, right? That's a good case to bring. But again, I think you can still argue that he was doing it officially. I mean, what's so ironic about the Supreme Court decision granting presidents, but really Donald Trump, immunity, is that you couldn't have picked a more blend work and pleasure MFer than Donald Trump, blend official acts with unofficial acts MFer than Donald Trump, the guy who's like, I'll accept money from foreign governments. 20 foreign governments gave him almost $8 million while he was in power. That's under investigation right now. His daughter gets brand deals from China and trademark deals in China while he's president. His son does work for the Saudi government. Okay, maybe a day after they leave office, right? Millions of dollars there, right? Like his son also receives PPP loans from the massive handout that happened during the pandemic, which was important for a lot of small businesses, but there were massive businesses. There were people like Jared Kushner who received bailouts because he was like, I'm a job creator. I've got 9 people or no. So like, it is incredible to me that yes, the immunity case, it just benefits. I mean, the ruling benefits this guy, this president. We will see what happens. Obviously, none of this is going to be litigated until after the election, which is worrisome to say the least. What I do like about Jack Smith unsealing all of this, and what I think is important, is it shows us, basically, it's like, this is the case I would have presented had we been able to present this before the Supreme Court decided to intervene.
He's done better than the January 6th Commission, right? I mean, right?
Yeah.
Since what Congress did, obviously, yeah.
Apparently, he had access to more information. And of course, we know hilarious details like Rudy Giuliani accidentally texted the fake elector scheme to the wrong person. Because of course he did. And I just love the reply. I was like, who is this?
Yeah. How do you think Donald Trump responded? You can figure it out for yourself. Called him a name, said he was dumb, said it was the worst, he's a loser. Here's Donald Trump responding to, what Jack Smith did yesterday and the judge.
That special counsel Jack Smith had filed court documents calling your actions in the aftermath of the 2020 election, quote, a private criminal effort. Can you respond to that?
He's a deranged person. I call him deranged Jack Smith. He just lost the big documents case. That was the biggest of them all. They said the documents case, and they said that was the toughest of them all. Let me tell you, we just won it. He works for Kamala and he works for Joe. This was a weaponization of government, and that's why it was released 30 days before the election. And it's nothing new in there, by the way, nothing new. They rigged the election. I didn't rig the election. They rigged the election. What they do is they rig the election, and then they go around getting people and persecuting people and prosecuting people that did nothing wrong. They rigged the election. These are crooked people. Deranged Jack Smith is a prosecutor who was put there in order to screw up the election for the Republican Party. The people know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. And it's not going to happen.
If they wanted to screw up the election, then this all would have happened much earlier. Merrick Garland would not have taken so long to bring all of this, and to find a special prosecutor and on and on. But
Right.
when is the, look at this view. This is the best view ever. And mine is the best. And look, it's the biggest and the biggest buildings. And this is the best and the highest. When is that going to wear off? When are people going to go, okay, enough of this crazy shit? Like, stop it. You're just like a used car salesman, or just like, you know what I'm saying? And the tires look at the tires on this thing. You don't get tires like this anywhere else. I mean, check it out in the engine. Oh boy. I mean, rev it up, turn up this. That's like what he's doing. And boy, we're going to give you a big deal on this that I'm not going to give anybody else. Trust me, you're going to get a big deal.
I mean, I think what's really sad about the Donald Trump, that hubris, that like bloviating egomania, is that many people, not just Americans, I think people around the world, are simple people, right?
Yeah.
We get duped by the used car salesman because they are using, not big words, but they're saying best and greatest and fastest.
And it's got a Hemi.
And yeah, exactly. And we want to believe people generally, and man, we want to be successful. And if we're next to someone successful, maybe we can be successful. I mean, I think the reality is we are often trained not to scrutinize, not to raise an eyebrow. And Donald Trump takes advantage of, yes, people with money, but also some of the most gullible people, sadly, the most trusting people possibly in this country. Also, some racists taking advantage of a little bit of race baiting, a little bit of deport all migrants baiting. But like, again, it's that no one can see through that, because you got to be trained to see through. Like it seems simple, but I think a lot of people just aren't able to yet see through it, especially from someone who seems to be a celebrity and seems to like have it going on, right? Again, I was trying to think of a celebrity. I'm like, I mean, when Jennifer Aniston told me to buy Aveeno lotion many years ago, I was like, I gotta buy Aveeno lotion because Jennifer Aniston told me to. Like, that's the closest that I get to being like, I mean, that celebrity liked it. That's good enough for me. Let's go.
Yeah. Listen, you mentioned Rudy Giuliani. I just want to say that Rudy Giuliani told Erin Burnett over on CNN that she is voting for Kamala Harris. Rudy Giuliani's daughter is now saying she is voting for Kamala Harris.
I see.
Because there you go. Oh, wow. Okay. So listen, I have some breaking news that I want to tell you about. This is just a short time ago, and I'm getting this from, I just want to make sure.
Ivana has risen from her grave in Bedminster.
No.
They've put her up like a Halloween decoration outside the golf course.
3 officers convicted in the Tyree Nichols fatal beating have been beating, but 2 are acquitted of civil rights charges. So listen, the verdict is in the Tyree Nichols beating that happened in Memphis, Tennessee about 2 years ago. 3 officers convicted in Tyree Nichols fatal beating, but 2 are acquitted of civil rights charges. So there you go. Tyree Nichols is a young man. We also saw his beating on videotape, and his mom, Ravon Wells, who I know I did an interview with her live when I was on CNN, and Rodney Wells. My thoughts are with them. It has to be a tough time for them, but there you go. Some of them convicted, some acquitted. We'll see what it is. And so I will leave you with that. I will spare you though from the RFK Jr. Olivia Nuzzi fiasco, because
of course it was her fiance that leaked it.
You think?
Yeah. Wouldn't you?
Can you blame him?
No, of course not. Also, I just want to plug really quickly. I do go on Piers Morgan from time to time, and people should check out my latest appearance. It was very funny because one of the very far right wingers who supports MAGA and told me that I have Trump derangement syndrome, her name's Emily Austin. She's like a model sports reporter, right? So as we're talking about the Newsy, I meant to tell you this, Dawn. We're talking about the Newsy story, right? And like, all of the transgressions of, this journalist. And Emily goes, well, I actually also happen to correspond with RFK Jr. quite frequently, and we DM back and forth. And we were just like, oh boy. Oh, like, like all of the chins.
You're on TV right now. You may not want to say that.
Don't like it's just so funny. Or like, and they're both, the blonde archetype, and you're like, oh boy,
the Fox Fembot look.
The Fox Fembot, and it's just very funny to me because I think he was clearly casting a very wide net, and I guess Olivia got caught up in it.
Yeah. Oh well, tangle webs, right? Thank you so much. I appreciate you joining us, Francesca. I hope we got to talk about everything you wanted to talk about, and yeah, we'll catch you on everything TYT, the Bituation Room.
Yes.
and
yeah,
on
check me out.
when you go on. All right.
Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com/FrannyFio.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Don. Take good care.
Thank you. You can click out. Thank you. And so everyone, I'm so glad that you watched Dave. We went a little bit longer because we came on a little bit later. Thanks to Francesca. She was late. I'm kidding. I had connectivity issues. So a big part of it. I mean, but can you believe out of everything for me, we had some really great stories and interesting stories that we talked about, but it is the Tina, what's her name of it all? I've been saying her name all evening. Tina Peters of it all. If you go check out her arrest video, it's crazy. As a matter of fact, can we just play it before we get out of here? Can we please just play the Tina Peters arrest video for the people who came in late? This is a warning to the MAGA cult. This too could be you unless you get out now.
Okay,
No.
Randy, put your cup down and turn around. Ma'am?
No. Let go of me. You let go of me. Let go of me. Let go of me. Let go of me. Oh no. Let go of me. Go. It hurts. Let go of me. Give me my key.
Do you understand?
Stop it. No, let go of me. Yes, you are, Caleb. Give me my key to my car. Give me my key to my car. Give me my key to my car. Give it to me. Give me my key.
Step outside for me, please.
Take my purse. Let go of me. You're hurting me. And I'm going to show all the bruises that you put on me.
If you're not going to cooperate, you'll
Let
be charged
go
with
of me.
obstructing.
Let go of me.
You understand that?
You let go of me now.
No, ma'am.
You're bruising me. Let go
Stop
of me.
pulling against us.
I'm not pulling against you. Let go of
Then
me.
stand up like an adult.
Shut up. What an asshole thing to say to me.
So there you go. MAGA cult Trump followers, let this be a lesson to you that Tina Peters was sentenced today to 9 years behind bars because she was convicted on charges including official misconduct in connection with a security breach of the Mesa County's voting system because she fell prey to Donald Trump's election lies. She is part of the MAGA cult. She was a mark for Donald Trump who fell for all of his lies, and now she's behind bars and he's at Mar-a-Lago luxuriating in the sunlight on a golf course with adoring fans in the dining room every night as he walks down to applaud him. She's going to have to sleep in a bunk behind bars for 9 years. So if you are in the MAGA cult, you may want to think about that. You may want to get out now before you fall deeper and you end up at the Capitol in January trying to overturn another election. Before you leave, hit the thumbs up, like and subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow at 10. Thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure you hit the like button. It helps us with the algorithm. And also, we'd love for you to become a subscriber. So hit that button, too. We're live every day at 10 a.m. Eastern Time and 5 p.m. Eastern, so there's plenty of content.